Volkswagen, Audi, Seat, Skoda cars with 1.8 and 2-litre gasoline engines marked TSI or TFSI, manufactured between 2008 and 2015, are characterised by high engine oil consumption. After covering about 100,000 kilometres, they can already burn even 1 litre of oil for every 1,000 kilometres. Such a high oil consumption is caused by poorly designed pistons, whose rings fail to collect excessive oil from cylinder walls. The oil that remains in the cylinders burns down during the power stroke. The oil burnt in the engine cylinders produces ash, which, mixed with oil, forms carbon deposits. This greasy deposit causes the rings to get stuck in the piston grooves and thus become even less effective in removing excess oil, so its consumption is constantly increasing, becoming more and more onerous. Will you ignore the issue and postpone repair? The carbon deposits that build up in the oil channels will eventually clog them. As a result, the turbocharger may be damaged or even the engine seize completely. If the oil duct leading to the hydraulic timing chain tensioner gets clogged, the chain will become loose and the timing gear will fail. The engine will seize in the result of collision of valves with pistons. If you own one of these cars and already experience excessive oil consumption, do not hesitate to repair. The cost of repairing a worn-out engine is higher than that of one that only burns oil. In this video, we show how we overhaul TFSI engines that burn huge amounts of oil. As I said, the excessive combustion of oil is caused by defective pistons. Therefore, they need to be replaced, necessarily, with those that no longer have such a defect. But I'll talk about the pistons later. In order to replace pistons in such an engine, we need to remove it from the car and take it apart. So in turn, before removing the engine, we drain old oil, coolant and gas from the air conditioning system. We take the engine out of the car. Then we remove all the equipment from the engine while verifying the condition of the turbocharger and catalyst. In the event of noticing leaks or excessive backlash in the turbine, we notify the customer about it and consult possible regeneration or replacement. If required, the turbocharger goes to our turbine regeneration workshop, where we perform its professional regeneration. Catalyst. If it is clogged, we can clean it in a special machine for regeneration of DPF filters and catalysts. After verifying the condition of the equipment, we proceed to dismantle the engine. When dismantling the engine, we throw away all elements that, according to the manufacturer's instructions, cannot be reused when assembling it, such as gaskets, sealings, bearings, and most bolts, as well as timing chains, tensioners, spark plugs, and, of course, the pistons. Then, all the parts of the engine that remain are engine block, crankshaft, camshafts, and many other elements go to an industrial wash, and after the initial washing, to the ultrasonic cleaner, which, thanks to cavitation of ultrasonic waves, perfectly cleanses all elements from sludge and carbon deposits, even in the most inaccessible places, without causing any damage or scratches, which is very important for precisely matched engine components. Thorough cleaning of all parts and unblocking the oil channels is very important, because carbon residues could, in the future, cause clogging of very thin oil ducts and, as a result of their obstruction and insufficient lubrication, lead to the damage I have already mentioned before. Once all the elements are thoroughly cleaned, we proceed to verify their wear. We already got rid of the old pistons, but now we take a look at cylinder liners in the block and what the former did to the latter. These scratches cannot be ignored. Shall we leave the block? In this condition, the engine, even supplied with new pistons, will still consume oil, and the issue will recur soon. We find similar scratches in almost every block of TSI engines that consumed oil. In addition, after measuring the diameter of the cylinder, in most cases there is a loss of 2 to 4/100ths of a millimeter from its normal size. Excessive clearance between the piston and the cylinder will also cause poor oil scraping by the rings, and thus oil consumption. Therefore, we insert new cylinder liners into each block to maintain the original dimension and correct cylinder finish. The engine block must therefore go to the grinding shop, where it will be machined and new cylinder liners installed. At our machining shop, we have the most modern machines and devices that are necessary to perform all necessary operations when machining engine components. At first, the engine block is processed by the borer that drills the holes for new cylinder liners. We then install new cylinder sleeves in the block. We only use sleeves manufactured by the German company combustion, which guarantees the highest quality of material. After installing the sleeve, the upper surface of the block, i.e. the place of contact with the head gasket, is leveled on a special block planning milling machine. Then the cylinders are subjected to honing. We perform this smoothing treatment, also known as cross-grinding, using the honing machine supplied by the American Sun & Company. After honing, we get the same finish as in the brand new block. The engine head also goes to the planing plant. We remove the valves from it, clean it in an ultrasonic cleaner. Using a specialist device, we check the tightness of coolant channels. After checking, we replace the valve guides, which are always quite worn. Then we bore the valve seats. We check and polish the valves. We plan the contact surface of the head with the seal. The assembled head is assembled using new valve stem seals. After folding, we check the tightness of the suction and exhaust valves and ducts. After all these operations, the engine head has all the parameters comparable to the new head. Now that we have the regenerated engine block and the cylinder head, we proceed to assemble the engine. We install the crankshaft, which has been previously cleaned and checked, polished or sanded, depending on its wear, in the engine block. We always use new main and spacing bearings as well as screws for shaft stoppers. Then we install the pistons. Attention, this is very important. The only pistons available on the market that guarantee that the issue of excessive oil combustion will not reoccur are the original third-generation pistons. The design of these pistons is completely different from that of their predecessors. These pistons are installed from 2015 onwards, and they do not suffer from the oil issue. Third-generation pistons can only be purchased at authorized Volkswagen Group services. Although Kolbenschmidt manufactures them for Volkswagen, they cannot be bought from any independent wholesalers. Use of aftermarket pistons does not guarantee that the oil consumption issue will not recur after driving just several tens of thousands of kilometers. That is why we only use original third-generation pistons in our workshop. After installing the pistons, we screw the connecting rods, of course, using new bearings and bolts. We tighten all bolts with torque wrenches according to the torque table specified in the service manual. After assembling the crankcase, we assemble the previously cleaned and inspected oil pump and install the oil pan. Then we screw the head to the block, of course, using a new gasket and screws. We install the hydraulic lash adjusters and the camshafts into the head. We install complete sets of new timing gears, i.e. 3 chains, 3 tensioners, and 6 slides. According to the manual, the timing drive should be replaced in these engines at 150,000 kilometers. But due to the fact that we offer 24 months of warranty without a mileage limit for our repairs, we put a new timing gear in every engine, regardless of its current mileage. The timing is set using the original locks and instruments. As the engine is already assembled, we mount the accessories back to it, of course using new gaskets. Now we can proceed to install the engine back in the car. Of course, we also replace the spark plugs and the oil filter in the refurbished engine. Next, we're filling the engine with fresh oil, coolant, and refill the AC system. After completing the work, we clean the engine compartment and perform a test drive. Another TFSI free of the oil issue. Yet another customer benefits from the numerous advantages of the TSI engine, because after eliminating the oil issue, it proves to be a very good engine, distinguished its low fuel demand and higher dynamics and flexibility, as well as very quiet operation. We have been renovating this type of engine since 2013. We carry out repairs for many garages from all over Europe. We currently overhaul an average of 15 TFSI engines a week. We grant a 2-year warranty without any mileage limit for the repairs of TSI and TFSI engines carried out in our company. Our car towers will pick up and drop off even 4 cars a day from all over Europe. We provide replacement cars for our customers for the duration of engine overhaul. You are welcome to enjoy our services.